her family. Williams, in a first-person essay for Vogue.com, today admitted she had mixed feelings about her next chapter, didn't even like using the word retirement, instead opting for evolution. Williams began her professional tennis career in 1995. At age 14, she's won 23 major championships, 73 singles titles, and 4 Olympic gold medals. There is only one way to describe Serena, according to ESPN tennis analyst Mary Jo Fernandez.
I still consider Serena Williams the best of all time. I mean, hands down, she was so dominant for so long. Best serve we've ever seen. And, the numbers, back it up. I just feel like she has really been the best player that we've seen on so many different levels.
The 40-year-old Williams implied that she'll try to play in this month's U.S. Open, her final tournament, in one last attempt to tie Margaret Court's major titles record of 24. NFL Saints quarterback Jameis Winston day-to-day with a sprained foot. Coach Dennis Allen says the team doesn't feel like it's anything significant, but Winston won't play in Saturday's preseason opener.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Odell Beckham Jr. still without a team right now.
The best landing spot is where he's already at, in Los Angeles. Re-sign with the Rams when you get healthy.
This and more, Wednesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Shelton Sampson, 5-star wide receiver, committed to LSU. He'll be with us in hour number 3. Lee Feinswog makes his return later next hour. We will start, though, with a Saints training camp report, as we've done each day during camp. Our friend Maddy Hudak, good enough to get out to practice, keep an eye on things, and give us a report here on the show, and she joins us now. Maddy, we appreciate it. How are you?
I'm good. It was good practice today.
Let's start with the big question. Obviously, Jameis injured yesterday, not there today. What's the latest?
Yeah, so Dennis Allen said after practice that he had a sprained right foot. It's one of those day-to-day things. They don't kind of feel that it's significant in any way. Someone had asked whether or not they anticipate him playing in the preseason, and he kind of declined to answer that. But that kind of just led to a lot of the other quarterbacks getting some actual good work at practice today. But the air is that, it's nothing significant to worry as of now.
Right. Like if it was week 1, we'd be having a different conversation than we are 5 weeks out from the opener.
Right.
So let me just take the opportunity then to ask about Andy Dalton, about Ian Book. You and I really haven't talked at all about those guys since we've been doing the camp reports. Anything stand out watching them throw today?
Yeah, so Ian Book probably had his best 2 days of camp yesterday and today. Yesterday he kind of shown quite a bit with some of his throws. They both went 5 of 6 in one of their series today. I had them pretty even back and forth. But Andy Dalton has impressed me, absolutely. It's not like I expected that much from him, but when you talk about kind of wanting that ultimate backup quarterback, someone that could go in, execute the exact offense that you want, and be confident that they would be able to step in and understand the offense, have their targets to be able to, make it through a 2 or 3 game stretch. He's just an executor. He's really connecting with Thomas. He can get the ball out quick and really seems to kind of understand the routes and where to place the ball. And then Ian Book, the first half of camp, he kind of just ran around back there, which wasn't really helpful to evaluate. And he just had some really nice placed balls in the end zone today with a touch. So both of them looked good, and I am curious to see both of them, especially Book, who really didn't get any of that time in the preseason last year. And then, I almost I do throw that Dolphins game out in the trash from last year. So it'll be good to see them in game on Saturday.
Yeah, it was such a weird thing with that Monday night, all the COVID, everybody at the absence. It was, I mean, the stories about guys literally introducing themselves in the locker room before the game. What about this is just sort of a one-off of that conversation, though, Maddy. Is Ian Book, do you suspect the Saints are going to keep 3 quarterbacks on the active roster, or would they put him at risk on the practice squad?
It's interesting because we were kind of going over that at Saints Wire, and the consensus was kind of that they'll keep 2 quarterbacks on the roster. I have to think that after, even though it's not a significant injury to Jameis Winston, then you have to think, I get the idea that the emergency quarterback would be Taysom Hill, but, Taysom, he's durable and not durable at the same time. Sure. He seems to bounce back quite a bit, but at the same time, he had the Liz Frank injury and then he hurt his rib and hasn't really, done much other than just kind of, nothing against defensive backs or anything like that. He was catching some balls today, but I do worry that, the dominoes could fall rather quickly. And I think depending on how Ian Book plays, he might make a case for himself on the roster and just kind of seeing how Winston's foot goes. But it really did kind of make us all stop and almost, instantly evaluate the room. If it was me, I would try to find a way just in case, given, what we have seen of the Saints the past couple of years with rotating quarterbacks with injury.
She's Maddy Hudak giving us our Saints camp report, doing so every day here on AFR while the Saints are in camp. Normally, Marcus Davenport returning would have been the lead, but for Jameis not being there. So this was good to see. How did it look seeing Davenport off the pup and out there for the first time?
Yeah, it was really the first time we've seen him do anything besides conditioning purposes. He did participate in the walkthrough, stretch, and individual drill, but Allen did mention that they're kind of getting some players ramped up these next 2 weeks. And he did mention after practice that he was kind of working on getting in shape first and foremost. So, we didn't see that much of him in terms of participating in pass rush or anything like that, but it was a good sign to see him. It was a really good sign to hear from him after practice. It looks like he's moving well. And, if all there is just kind of get back into game shape, probably a good sign for him moving forward. He was asked about his hand and that amputation, and he said that that's all kind of healing very well. So something to watch to see kind of when he gets involved in things, but that was a notable presence at camp today.
Well, obviously with Davenport coming back, there was one unfortunate injury today with Bryce Thompson. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I was unfortunately right there. He was going up against, I believe it was Kirk Merritt in the end zone, and he covered him really well. Just the second they kind of fell to the ground, it was kind of like C.J. Gardner-Johnson had a brief, I think it was a cramp or something yesterday, but he tried to get up and fell back over on his foot, and that's exactly what happened to Bryce Thompson. He looked to be in pain, was kind of yelling and couldn't really turn over. Looked like an ankle or something, and they eventually did, cart him off the field. And, I think that's really all we know at this point, but disappointing because he has had a really, really strong camp showing so far.
You said that the injury came when he was going against Kirk Merritt. That's another guy, Maddy, who we've heard a lot about. What has been so impressive about Kirk Merritt so far?
He just is one of those players that you didn't really expect to write down in your notebook, more than once or twice. And I have him in my chart as going, 3-0 against Alontae Taylor and Paulson Adebo, and contested catches for that matter. He had a one-handed catch in the end zone. Really just impressive plays, both from Winston and Book and Andy Dalton all throwing to him. Dennis Allen did. Ross Jackson asked after practice kind of what his opinion on Kirk Merritt is, and he said it is a player that has caught his eye. He had a shakier OTA performance earlier on, but he really has seemed to kind of come on. Between him and Aesop Winston Jr., I am really curious to kind of see how the end of that wide receiver group really molds out, but Merritt has definitely made a strong case to make that roster.
Yeah, and so it's final thing. So we saw the first depth chart come out yesterday for whatever that's worth. Again, it's like the beginning of camp. But is there a spot when I look at the receiver room, Maddy? I don't know where a guy like Kirk Merritt or anyone at the end of that room fits in. How do they resolve that? I mean, is there a spot for a guy like Kirk Merritt on this team?
Yeah, I mean, he's listed behind Kevin White, ahead of Dixon and Shaheed. But same thing with Aesop Winston. My thing is whichever one of them is more impressive on special teams. I think that's always the way to kind of sneak in the door for the Saints. And just for me personally, if it comes down to special teams, I think Aesop Winston has kind of made more of a case for himself there. But you're right. This time last year it was, who is the wide receiving room? Is Marquez Callaway wide receiver 1? Right. And is Hogan wide receiver 2? But this year, it's people were not so much freaking out, but, why is Chris Olave so far down the depth chart? And, how do we keep guys like Winston Jr. and Merritt? Whereas last year they were kind of the darlings of camp. It is going to be tough, but again, I think the best way to make this team is special teams.
Maddy, last year at this time, I was legit trying to convince myself that Kevin White had something left in the tank. It's going to happen. It's got to happen. I mean, it's such a world apart from the conversation we're having just a year ago. First preseason game on Saturday. Maddy Hudak, she's on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. That's MADDY. Don't screw it up like the Starbucks person does every time. HUDAK, Maddy Hudak _94. Give her a follow. Okay, Maddy, we appreciate it. We'll talk again tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Bye.
Be well. We appreciate the time. Great insight there. That's a bummer about Bryce Thompson. Of course, was a really good defensive back at Tennessee, and one of those undrafted guys that you look and thought, man, might be an opportunity as a depth at safety and depth at safety, special teams guy for sure, and was playing well in camp, but unfortunate injury, was carted off. We'll see if we can get an update whenever we can get one from Dennis Allen or the training staff. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We appreciate Maddy for jumping aboard there at the beginning of the show. The Saints did release their first depth chart of training camp. We'll run through some of that a bit later in the show, as we have a lot of Saints stuff we'll get to as they move toward their first preseason game on Saturday in Houston against the Texans. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. We had player availability today from LSU. Malik Neighbors, who we chatted with last week on AFR, was available. Jay Bramblett, the punter, transfer from Notre Dame. B.J. Ojolari, who has been awarded the number 18. And Garrett Dellinger also met with reporters today. And he has all of a sudden become one of the most fascinating guys in LSU fall camp, because yesterday he was running as the first-team center, a guy who's never played center. So you better believe that was going to be an interesting topic of conversation today when Garrett Dellinger met with reporters. We'll talk a little bit about the LSU offensive line and let you hear from Garrett Dellinger next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds to remind you about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, as we kind of inch closer to game day. Or maybe, look, if we're talking about the first preseason game this Saturday, if you're going to be watching the game at the house, you're going to be having somewhat of a game watch house party, Rouse's can help you out. Look, if you're going to have people over, all of your party trays, if you want wings or if you want sandwiches or finger foods or whatever it might be that you'd have on that party tray, Rouse's can help you out. Charcuterie, it's all available. Check them out there at Rouse's. You could pre-order, pick it up. We did that for Father's Day. We had a whole big spread with brisket and all different kinds of meats and sandwiches and everything. Pre-ordered it, went in on Father's Day, paid for it, picked it up, and walked right out. Great options at Rouse's. Look, delivery and pickup options are available for your groceries if you need them. Rouse's.com or download the Rouse's app to learn more. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
And just a quick reminder, Drop Biscuit Studios, tons of content there. That's the new podcast network that we here at Guarantee Media have launched. Rosters to Riches, the podcast, the NIL podcast that I'm hosting with Jonathan Pixley from over at Matchpoint. That episode is live that we recorded yesterday. Talked a lot about the bill that's being proposed by Tommy Tuberville. Sarah Edwards, LSU gymnast, was with us for the middle part of the show as well. Talked about a lot, including Olivia Dunn being on the gymnastics roster, and if there was resentment among the roster with things like that. So really good episode if you want to check it out. Rosters to Riches, however you get your podcast, or at dropbiscuit.com. And, of course, LSU Daily. It's my daily LSU podcast, which drops every morning at 6 a.m. Would love it if you subscribe up there. And then all of our shows individually. If you want After Further Review on demand every single day, go to dropbiscuit.com, or however you get your podcast, just type in After Further Review. The single biggest question facing LSU football right now is not quarterback. It's the offensive line. After going out to practice on Monday, I am very comfortable in saying that. Yes, I understand quarterback is the most important position, individual position in team sports. But if you don't have an offensive line that can protect your quarterback or block for your runners, then it's largely irrelevant. And considering what we saw on Monday, I'm very confident in saying that right now is the biggest question mark. It's the biggest concern. I think LSU has guys at quarterback that are capable and that have played. I mean, Jaden Daniels has played 30 games, and Miles Brennan has been around for 6 years. And I think a lot of people are very excited about Nussmeier, son of a coach, all talent, all that sort of stuff. But the offensive line has to come together as a unit. And maybe the biggest question about what we saw is, of course, the second half of the battery behind the quarterback is the center. And we would hope at this point that Charles Turner, 4 years into his college career, would be the starting center. That doesn't appear to be the case. On Monday when we were at practice, it was Garrett Dellinger as the first-team center, and then Fitzgerald West, the freshman who was a high school defensive lineman who's converting to offensive line, was running as the second-team center. So today, when Garrett Dellinger met with reporters, clearly the most obvious question was going to be one that Michael Cobble asked.
You ever played in high school or anything? No, never played in high school.
but I was prepared over spring to snap, so I was ready.
Garrett Dellinger is right now running first-team center and has never played the position. I completely respect the work ethic. I completely respect the effort, the energy, the time put in to learn that craft. I'll remind you that Liam Shanahan was not a center and played that position for LSU the last 2 seasons, transferring in from Harvard. That was largely out of necessity, though. I remember Liam came on this show, and I asked him about playing center. And, I mean, it was just really because Chasen Hines couldn't get the shotgun snap down, and so he moved inside. It's a position he had never played before. Despite playing all over the line at Harvard, had never played center. So transitioning someone to center is not altogether uncommon. We've seen it before, but it's unsettling because the position is so important. I told you that on Monday while we were out there when they were doing a goal line type drill, the third shotgun snap that Dellinger sent back to Jaden Daniels rolled back there, and that's the big concern. It's not. Are you smart enough to learn all the calls? Are you physical enough to play the position? It's the most important part about playing center, first and foremost, is the snap. I mean, you've got to get the quarterback-center exchange flawlessly every single time, and that's paramount before you start doing everything else. So here was Dellinger on when he started actually working on snapping the football.
So I started snapping around springtime, and I was kind of just snapping on my own, trying to get my own reps in. And then I know once camp started, I was really going at it. So,
if you remember, spring. So he's known since spring this is a possibility, and that shouldn't be a giant surprise because if you remember, Brian Kelly going into spring told us that Brad Davis was cross-training 5 players at center. They're working 5 different guys because they knew Charles Turner was one of the guys that was coming back to play that position, but they weren't really settled. So if it was Dellinger or Tremont Shorts, there were 5 guys that were working at center, snapping the football, trying to cross-train to see if they could find some depth at that position. Clearly, it's a position of need. Here was Dellinger today on how Brad Davis has handled cross-training all these guys.
Well, he makes sure that when he speaks to one person, everyone's listening. So when he's talking to me, he's making sure every other person that has a chance to play center is listening. When he speaks to a right guard, left guard, he's speaking to both sides. And then he always corrects the little things. And sometimes he'll bring in what if this happens? You know to do this, and just make sure we're all on the same page, really.
One of the other things that Dellinger said today that I thought was very important is that he and every lineman should know part of the reason it's been beneficial to him. And you remember, Dellinger last year as a freshman played on both sides of the line. So he has played in games at multiple spots across the offensive line. And because he has played multiple spots, his opinion was it will benefit him as the center because he knows what every other lineman is supposed to be doing on the play. That makes a lot of sense, and I totally buy that. That is true. In many respects, it's like a middle linebacker or the quarterback where you have to know what every receiver's route is going to be. It's similar with the center where you have to know everybody's blocking responsibility if you're making all the calls at the line of scrimmage. Sometimes we've seen quarterbacks make those calls if a center isn't comfortable doing so, but you would obviously prefer your center to make those calls for the line. So that you're spinning it a little bit, but I get it, and it does make sense if that works out to your benefit, to where Dellinger, having played multiple spots, knows other guys' responsibility, so that transition inside should be easier in that respect. And they have been working on this since spring. Now, it's worth mentioning, of course, Garrett Dellinger, with the shoulder surgery, didn't go through spring. So he wasn't practicing out there, even though he could have been working on snapping the football. He wasn't getting center reps during the spring because of the injury. By the way, real quick, play one muse. This was Dellinger on an update on his health.
I'd say closer to the end of spring, I was feeling more like myself, just because I started hitting the bags with the trainers and working with the trainers more, and then got the confidence back in the weight room.
So he said he was feeling better, more like himself, close to the end of spring. So didn't go through spring drills with his teammates through spring practice, so he lost that time. But right now, healthy, full pads, no restrictions. He's not there out in a no-contact jersey or anything, so he's full go. But the other thing from Dellinger was about building continuity. So, again, with the 2 days of practice the media has been allowed to see, we've seen a couple of different looks from the line. What we saw on Monday was Will Campbell at left tackle, and so far that's been the constant, right? He's been pretty much solidified there at left tackle since 5 practices in the spring or whatever it was. And then we saw Tremont Shorts at left guard, Dellinger at center. We saw Miles Frazier at right guard, and it was Anthony Bradford at right tackle. So because you're seeing a little fluctuation, he was asked how difficult has it been to build continuity with that group?
Well, we've been practicing with each other since spring with all the new guys who came in. So we've been with each other for plenty of time to learn each other's movements. So we've done plenty of outside activities.
When I heard that, the correlation that I might give when he's like, we had outside activities, obviously not practice. Like, they've not been in practice together working as a unit because they can't on field with coaches and all that stuff and pads and everything. But if this makes sense, the closest comp I can draw is receivers and quarterbacks going to work 7-on-7, like skeleton drills and getting their timing down. That's where it would make sense, where if receivers are going out there every day to catch passes from the quarterback just to learn timing, routes, rhythm, all that sort of stuff, that might be something that this offensive line has worked on throughout the summer and the late spring, and that would be very encouraging if in fact that is the case. Now, how quickly can they gel? Can they come together? Those are things that we could literally only speculate on until they go play a game. And when they play Florida State, on September the 4th in the Superdome, we'll have a much better idea. But I will tell you, for me right now, my biggest takeaways from Monday, and I'll be very curious to see what we get to see on Thursday, but I came away feeling much better about the defense, much better. Even the questions about linebackers, I think the defense is going to be fine. We know LSU's got great skill guys, and I think they'll be stable at quarterback, if not good. The offensive line, I think, just remains the most gigantic question mark. And there's no way that you can simulate what you're going to see in a game until you go play a game. And if there is maybe a benefit, it's you're going to get to go up against a really good defensive front and practice every day. That's going to challenge you and hopefully get them a lot better between now and that season opener and then throughout the course of the season. But Garrett Dellinger, sophomore, played a lot last year as a freshman all across the line. It looks as though he's getting the first crack at the starting center position. Tigers are practicing again. The next media availability is Thursday in Tiger Stadium, and the media does get to watch the entire practice. So we'll have a much better sense of how things look, and we would expect we're going to get to see team periods as well, and we'll get you a better sense of how this offensive line, this new look offensive line, will perform when they go against the LSU defense. But it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us on this Tuesday edition of AFR. Remember, you can always email us. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona. You can
Twitter world.
Thank you, Juice. You can jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, or you can text us in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. Big news in the world of college football as it pertains to media rights deals, which we will get to. And 30 minutes from right now, one of the biggest stories in the NFL, Roquan Smith requesting a trade out of Chicago. Should the Saints become players in those sweepstakes? I'll give you my thoughts in half an hour. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. You got 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You know where they are. Seagan near Airline. So if you're coming up Seagan from I-10 toward Airline, they're on the left. LA-16 in Denham. There's not another garden center within a 5-mile radius. You know where that is if you live in Denham. Mid-City on Donmore. You turn off of Florida onto Donmore. It's on the right. And then the garden center on Greenwell Springs. If you're on Greenwell Springs Road and you're leaving Central, it's on the right. You can't miss it. I tell you every single day, buy local, shop local. Remember, Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so anything you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. Great items like the Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. The more time we spend outside as we move into fall, maybe you're in the swimming pool, or maybe you're having barbecues outside, cookouts, tailgates, game watches, and the mosquitoes are just annoying you, the Spartan Mosquito Eradicator can affordably take care of your mosquito problem 90 days at a time, and it's at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Is it weird that the Sports Business Journal broke a story about ESPN pulling out of the Big Ten media rights negotiations? Would it make sense that ESPN break a story about ESPN pulling out of the Big Ten media rights negotiations? Whatever, hat tip to John Oran from SBJ, the Sports Business Journal. He got the scoop. He got the scoop that ESPN has pulled out of the Big Ten media rights negotiations, ending one of the longest sports media relationships in the business. ESPN said no to the conference's final offer of a 7-year, $380 million per year package. Sources tell SBJ. I can only imagine that those sources had to come from the Big Ten and not ESPN, because I would imagine that ESPN would have broken the story of their own network pulling out of those negotiations and not the Sports Business Journal. This is relevant for us here locally, or in this SEC footprint, because keep in mind, And I know sometimes the media rights stuff may not be super interesting, but the reason this is relevant to you if you're an SEC fan or a college fan is the media rights deals are the cash cow. That's the thing that drives all of these financial conversations and decisions. It's the reason, if I'm oversimplifying it, why teams are even in conferences, because the conferences collectively can take their media rights, their grant rights for all the institutions, and negotiate a better deal for the 14 or soon to be 16 members of the SEC together instead of each individually going to do its own media rights deal. So the number, again, 7-year, $380 million per year package that's what ESPN said no to from the Big Ten. CBS and NBC reportedly are going to pay the Big Ten $350 million a year for their package. So we knew a couple of years ago, remember, the SEC signed a deal exclusively with ESPN. SEC's dropping CBS. SEC won't be on CBS at 2:30 anymore. That's going to be a Big Ten game moving forward. So when this deal goes into place. So the SEC did their deal in December of 2020, so 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago. And now the Big Ten, their rights deal was up. So they're going to get, and the SEC's deal was 10 years, $300 million, right? So per year, so $3 billion over the course of the decade. So this is now a $350 million per year deal. So the Big Ten deal, which includes USC, UCLA, outpaces the SEC deal by $50 million per year, which is significant. But the SEC deal was done before Texas and Oklahoma agreed to join the Southeastern Conference. That's one of the things that's holding up the college football playoff and SEC schedule, format, all of that sort of stuff, because the SEC is going to expect that ESPN negotiate in good faith to give them value for Texas and Oklahoma. And this is what we've seen so far. Like, this is the market. It's almost like what we see in free agent contracts every year, where a quarterback gets a new deal. Well, when the next great quarterback is up, they expect to reset the market by besting the previous quarterback's deal. We've seen it with Patrick Mahomes and with Josh Allen, here recently with Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers. Like, Joe Burrow is going to top the market whenever his deal comes up. It's just how this is done. And so the same is true in these media rights deals. So the Big Ten just reset the market after the SEC said it, but the SEC is going to look at ESPN and say, hey, look, we did our deal before Texas and OU were part of this. We're going to expect to be compensated justly. So look at the Big Ten's $350 per year and say, can the SEC top that with ESPN? Maybe that's part of the reason why ESPN was willing to let the Big Ten walk and say, look, we're not interested in your $380 a year, because they know they're going to have to come back and pay more to the SEC because of Texas and Oklahoma. Again, if you're the SEC, you're not going to set forth a football schedule format that might include 9 conference games where you're effectively giving your TV partner more inventory without being compensated for it and putting yourself at risk of losing more games. So look, if you play an extra conference game, half of your league, when you go to 16, you're guaranteeing 8 teams in your league an extra loss. So you're putting your league at risk of not being, able to make a playoff if they have to potentially lose more game or not make it a New Year's Six or however it may be formatted. So you want to make sure you're compensated as such. So keep this number in mind. And of course, the reason that's relevant is, the reason you're able to pay coaches and build great facilities and have gigantic recruiting budgets. Yes, donor support matters, but the lion's share of that revenue from singular one pillar is coming from your media rights deal, from your conference affiliation. So you need that to be as lucrative as possible. So that's the number to keep in mind as the SEC hopefully will renegotiate with ESPN to be compensated as such for Texas and OU coming into the league. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, they do it all. Cash out refinance is a great option if you want to use some of your home's equity to do that home improvement project. GMFS Mortgage can help. USDA lenders ranked number 1 in Louisiana, number 11 in the entire country. Billions of dollars in loans since they opened their doors. Hundreds of thousands of Louisiana residents helped. Voted the number 1 best place to work in Baton Rouge in the Baton Rouge Business Report. Find a local loan officer nearest you at gmfsmortgage.com, gmfsmortgage.com, GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Tennessee Volunteers.
Josh Heupel gave an update Tuesday morning on Brew McCoy and Lynn J. Dixon. Brew McCoy, of course, is the receiver transferring in from USC. McCoy's eligibility, still no update. He joined Tennessee from USC, was suspended following an arrest due to partner violence back in August, but still no update on McCoy. Meanwhile, transfer running back Lynn J. Dixon is immediately eligible to play as he's transferring in, having transferred from West Virginia, having never played at West Virginia after transferring there this offseason, but he is eligible at Tennessee.
The Florida Gators.
Florida redshirt freshman quarterback Jalen Kitna was not at practice on Monday afternoon when Billy Napier was asked about Kitna by reporters. Napier did confirm that Kitna was dealing with an injury, but would not elaborate. So diagnosis unknown, and did not provide a timeline for how soon Kitna might be back on the field. He's, of course, the son of former NFL quarterback John Kitna. Jalen Kitna did not see the field during 2021. And, of course, he's one of the backups to starter Anthony Richardson.
The Auburn Tigers.
How about Auburn basketball wrapping up its trip to Israel overseas? Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers wrapped up their week actually taking an L in Tel Aviv. They fell to the Israeli national team 95-86. The Israeli national team, by the way, is ranked 42 in the FIBA World Ranking. So this is a really legitimate basketball team that they were playing. Auburn actually drew within a point with about 7 minutes left in the game before the Israeli national team pulled away to win by 9. The Tigers will head back home after their week-and-a-half-long trip overseas.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
While Auburn's heading home, the Bama basketball team is just tipping off and did so with a blowout win over the Spain Select team in their European trip. So the Tide win 108-64 of the game in Barcelona. Game high 17 from freshman Brandon Miller, 13 each from 2 other freshmen, Rylan Griffin and Noah Clowney. The game was not broadcast on radio, TV, or the internet, so there was AL.com reporters on site which provided the game report. Alabama is conducting its first foreign tour since 2017. They now travel to Paris to play Lithuania, their B national team, and then Thursday, and then they'll meet the Chinese national team on Friday.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And one more basketball note. How about this August? And we got basketball notes. Lamont Paris in South Carolina have landed another big fish for the class of 2023. 3-star small forward Arden Conyers out of South Carolina. He's committed to the Gamecocks. He's a 6'6 wing. He's the second commitment for the class of 2023 there in Columbia. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, and Lafayette. The official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. It is Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. All right, it's after further review. We'll talk some beer with Feinswog in about 30 minutes from right now. I'll give you my thoughts on Roquan Smith in 15 minutes from right now. Should the Saints pursue Roquan Smith? If you haven't heard, the All-Pro linebacker from the Chicago Bears has requested a trade from the organization. The Saints are a linebacker-needy team, as we know. I'll give you some thoughts on that coming up here in about 15 minutes from right now. We're not going to quick break and wrap up hour number 1. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love sharing great testimonials every day from our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. Got another 5-star review. This time it came in from Patty Ivy. Said, I called to report that air was out at 3:30 on a Sunday. The technician was there at 4 o'clock. Cody was so pleasant and knowledgeable. He fixed our air in less than an hour, and we'll sleep peacefully tonight. We'll definitely use them again, and even signed up for the membership package. Highly recommend. A+ gets my highest rating again. a real-life 5-star Google review from Patty Ivy. I told you all the time, nights, holidays, weekends, it doesn't matter. They will come out, and they'll never charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, weekends, because it don't matter if it's a Sunday. If you're hot in your home and your AC ain't working, you got to get it fixed. And River City's 1 Hour Air is the company to do it. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Muse.
Yo.
You like baseball.
I do.
You do like baseball.
I do.
And who do you cheer for? Who's your major league team that you like?
It'd be the Boston Red Sox.
Thought so. You probably don't know this, Muse, but there was a very unfortunate incident with someone named Chris Saleh. He apparently is a pretty good pitcher for your friends in Boston. Chris Saleh.
I wouldn't know.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, I just hadn't pitched very much as of late.
Well, apparently, so what happened with him, so you know. So he had a stress fracture in his rib cage this spring because he was throwing batting practice to college hitters during the lockout.
Yeah.
So he missed 3 months of the season. And then he came back, and this was after he had Tommy John. Oh, he had Tommy John and missed all of 2020. So he really, this guy Saleh, is he any good, by the way?
He's pretty good.
Is he?
Yeah. Sale, too. Chris Sale. Yeah.
Sale.
Yeah. Like when things
Like a
are
sailboat?
like when things are discounted.
Well,
Right.
it is spelled like that. I just figured
Yeah.
because Bostonians have accents that you'd say it's Saleh. So Sale, you say it is.
Sale,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to fact check you. But
Okay.
we'll see. So anyway, this guy, Sale, he's 33, by the way, Muse.
Yeah.
So he had missed a whole season because he had Tommy John. And then he came back and then stress fracture in his rib cage while throwing BP to college kids. And then he got hit on the finger and broke his finger. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was the second start back from the old injury list there.
Batted ball, broke his pinky finger. So he had surgery. Well, apparently, I don't know if you know this, but he's going to miss the rest of the season now. He was in a bike accident.
Yeah.
And when I say a bike, I mean a bicycle.
Yeah. Not like a motorbike. Yeah.
A bicycle.
Yeah.
A bicycle. And he broke his wrist. And now he's had surgery.
Yeah.
Well, Muse.
You're the worst for this, by the way.
Well, I'm just trying to let you know.
I saw it. Why are you riding a bike after
Did
you
you
just had
see-
surgery on a pinky? Come on.
Oh, it's just a pinky.
What are you doing?
Did you see? Maybe it was a stationary bike. Could have been. It didn't clear. It just said a bike accident, a bicycle accident.
Stupid extension.
But it's okay though, Muse, because if I'm reading this correctly, Boston is 54 and 56.
Ouch.
And they're in last place
Ouch.
in the Al East Division.
Al
East
yeah.
Division. They're 17. It says they're 17 games behind the first place Yankees.
Oh.
So it probably wouldn't even matter if Saleh, Sale, tomato, were to pitch.
Yeah.
But
they've had a lot of injuries.
I thought I would share that with you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you looking out. That's a very noble thing for you to do.
I just wanted to make sure that you're informed about your favorite team.
Yeah.
That's all. That's my only reason for being here and sharing this
Convenient you do this after the 5-game losing streak for the Yankees was snapped last night, but it's okay. It's okay.
I can't help when Saleh breaks his hand.
Yeah.
I can't help when, excuse me,
Sale
breaks his wrist. I'm just sharing the news with you, Muse.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Shoot the messenger here.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do the Red Sox play tonight?
The Braves.
Okay.
Coming
That's
for
who
you,
Paul
Paulie.
likes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck, Paulie. I hope it goes well for you. But Muse really needs some help. I mean, his team's in. Where are the Braves in the standings in their conference?
They're currently second
in the conference.
I don't know about the conference, the division for sure.
Got it. I'm just using stupid terms. I'm playing very dumb, which I'm good at. So second. Well, Muse's team, they're last in the Al East.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. 17 games behind the team that's in first place.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of games. A lot of games. You know what else is a lot?
What's that?
65 yards.
That's a lot.
Especially when you're a field goal kicker. You know what 65 yards is a lot for? When you're not a field goal kicker, but you make that field goal. Did you see this freaking story?
No.
So Justin Reed from Dutchtown, Justin Reed, I swear I don't remember Justin Reed being a kicker in high school. I called Justin Reed's games when he was at Dutchtown. I mean, when he played Catholic, but I do not remember him being a kicker. At practice, he's with the Chiefs now. Remember, he was with the Texans. He's with the Chiefs now. Justin Reed blasted a 65-yard field goal at Chiefs practice. Now, there was no rush. There was no snap or anything. They had it on one of the little kicker tees. Not one of the kickoff tees, but like how they have it's like the little tripod that holds the top of the ball off to the side. But off the ground, the tee, Justin Reed, Paul, there's no way anybody can see that. I mean, it's like it's a vertical video. But I very much appreciate Paul doing the boxes to make it look better. There's no way anybody can see that. 65 yards. Here's my Justin Reed, by the way, said it was a dream come true when he got to kick in a preseason game last year. How many players, like actual football players, are excited to be kickers? Normally, like, football players are, like, they hate the kicker. But Justin Reed said it was a dream come true when he got to kick in a preseason game. That would be like, I mean, is it like position players getting the pitch or pitchers getting the hit? Maybe it's something exciting like that. You get to do something different, prove you're an even better athlete. But check out the video. 65-yard field goal by Justin Reed. Incredible. Had room to spare as well. All right, hour number 2 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. Honest to goodness true story. Like, literally during that hour, one of my friends was texting me. Their daughter is about to start driving, and they're interested in getting a Volkswagen. So who do I talk to over at South Point? Well, you can walk in the door and talk to anybody at South Point. But I know I stress this so much. With Volkswagens, you're talking about 9 different models that have achieved IIHS Top Safety Pick designation. It's the highest safety designation a vehicle can achieve. 9 different models have achieved that designation. That's why every time you get behind the wheel of a Volkswagen, you have that peace of mind knowing you're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road. When your children start driving, you're going to buy them that first car. A Volkswagen is affordable, stylish, fun to drive, but safe. It checks every box. Test drive one today. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. New, certified, pre-owned, in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A tennis legend appears set to call it a career. Serena Williams, in a new personal essay in the September issue of Vogue, announced her tennis career is winding down, citing her desire to grow her family. The 40-year-old admitted she had mixed feelings about her next chapter, did not like using the word retirement, instead opting for evolution. Serena is a GOAT well beyond her sport, believes ESPN tennis analyst Pam Shriver.
In the end, she's going to go down as one of the great athletes, not just in tennis, but in sports history. When you think about her longevity, winning majors as a teenager in the 90s and still competing in 2022, and her record in the Olympics.
Williams implied she will try to play in this month's U.S. Open, her final tournament, in one last attempt to tie Margaret Court's 24 major titles record. NFL, the Commanders fired defensive line coach Sam Mills, head coach Ron Rivera citing a difference of philosophy without elaborating. Baseball Red Sox lefty Chris Sale had season-ending wrist surgery yesterday, is expected to be ready for the start of spring training.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get up there and make it a good one. Glad to have you aboard with us. I'll talk some beer with Feinswog in about 15 minutes from right now. Impact Newcomers. Shelton Sampson will be here in hour number 3, so we'll look forward to chatting with the 5-star commitment from Cali High. Oh, that's going to be so much fun. So much Cali High action on the show. And you better believe that's going to follow up a Tigers in the Pros, where Muse will mention Cali High all throughout the segment. Avert your ears if you don't like it. So this became headline news today in the NFL. You've probably seen by now that Bears linebacker Roquan Smith has requested a trade from the Chicago Bears. On NFL Network today, Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo kind of gave the report. Here's what they had to say this morning. Do we want to try it again? Okay.
Roquan Smith, the all-pro linebacker for the Chicago Bears, and likely their best player on defense, or maybe best player in their entire organization. He is there. He is present, but he does not want to be there. He has requested that the organization trade him. Trade Roquan Smith. Now, this after intense contract negotiations have essentially broken down, and he has some grievances. Now, my understanding, Mike, is that Roquan Smith has lost what he believes is any trust in the organization. He believes they're trying to take advantage of him, that the organization is trying to strong-arm him into a deal that is really not something that he could take. One example, they're insisting on de-escalator clauses, which no player making $15 million or more has in their contract. The deal they offered him was highly, highly backloaded and would really hurt the entire linebacker market, and clearly he is offended by all of this.
So that was Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network laying out the particulars. Roquan Smith requested a trade with a social media post that he had done as a note on his phone. He said, look, he essentially wrote the letter to Chicago Bear fans saying he requested a trade, mentions he's a kid from Macon County, Georgia, said he dreamed of growing up playing for the NFL, never imagined being a top 10 pick of the Chicago Bears. Anyway, he goes on essentially to say what you heard from Rappaport there, that he just feels like the new front office doesn't. He said, unfortunately, the new front office regime does not value me here. They refuse to negotiate in good faith. Every step of this journey has been take it or leave it. The deal sent to me is one that would be bad for myself and for the entire linebacker market if I signed it. It's a very smart thing that Roquan Smith did. In this letter that he wrote, he made an appeal to the fans. He said, I wanted to be a Bear for my entire career, help bring this team back to a Super Bowl, bring a Super Bowl back to the city. He said he hasn't had a chance to talk to the McCaskey family, and maybe that can salvage this, but as of right now, he doesn't see a path back to the organization that I truly love, as he put it. So he ended by saying, I hope and pray y'all can understand. I'm deeply sorry it's come to this. Sincerely, Roquan Smith. He's a guy that in an organization that from Dick Butkus to Mike Singletary and Brian Urlacher, you look at Roquan Smith, he's sort of that next in a long line of great inside backers there at for the Chicago Bears, and he's been magnificent. It's worth mentioning this. And I only bring this up today, not because general NFL topics or the Chicago Bears topics are relevant here, but I look at it from the standpoint of whether or not the Saints should make a play for Roquan Smith. It's why yesterday we talked about Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt requested a trade from Cleveland. Now, Cleveland has come out and said they have no interest in trading Kareem Hunt, but we talked about it from the perspective that the Saints should be in the mix for Kareem Hunt, which I think no. Because you've got a guy who's got 1 year left on his deal. Why would you give up an asset to get a guy at a position that depreciates when you're already paying Alvin Kamara $75 million? You can't afford to pay two running backs. You don't want to give up an asset just to have a guy for a year. But my stance has always been, if you are a member of an NFL front office, you should consider every single deal. It's like when you go shopping. You walk into a store that's probably more expensive than you can afford, and you see something you like. You don't just walk past it and say, I can't afford it. What do? You look at the tag. You always look at the tag, don't you? We always do it when we shop. You look at the tag. You look at the price. You never know. Maybe it's discounted. You always look at the tag. That's what every member of every front office should be doing when they hear Roquan Smith is interested in and is demanding a trade. You make the phone call. You kick the tires. You see what it's going to cost. Now, this is certainly an opportunity for ownership in Chicago to flex. Maybe the McCaskies will come forward and tell the GM, hey, get a deal done. We saw this in New Orleans. Drew Brees got very frustrated during his free agent year in 2011, and it lingered and lingered and lingered, and ultimately Tom Benson finally stepped in and said, get a deal done now. And they did, very quickly, get that deal done. He didn't want it to linger anymore. It's also worth noting that a lot of players request and or demand trades that never happen. Deebo Samuel demanded a trade out of San Francisco. Last week, he got a long-term extension. Yesterday, Kareem Hunt asked for a trade out of Cleveland. Cleveland said, yeah, we're not trading you. Aaron Rodgers requested a trade from Green Bay. He's still the quarterback in Green Bay at $50 million per. Flip side of it is Jamal Adams requested a trade from the Jets. They traded him to Seattle. Julio Jones requested a trade from Atlanta. They traded him to Tennessee. Antonio Brown wanted out of Pittsburgh. They traded him to Oakland. Like, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you have a player that's either discontent or you can't come to some type of contract agreement. If you're the Bears and this is your best offer to Roquan Smith, and he's entering the final year of his rookie contract. Roquan Smith was a top 10 pick of the Bears. He's played 4 years. During those 4 years, there are only two players in the NFL, Bobby Wagner and Shaquille Leonard, that have more tackles than Roquan Smith. Two-time All-Pro, second-team All-Pro, but still the last 2 years have been second-team All-Pro each of the last 2 years. You got a guy who's going into the final year, the fifth year of his rookie contract. If he is not going to re-sign with you and you genuinely feel this is your best offer to him, then it is better for you to trade him and recoup assets instead of letting him sign with someone else after this year because you're not winning a championship in Chicago this year anyway. So if you're the Saints, we talked about it. Where are the Saints weakest right now on this team? It's linebacker. And I don't even know that it's close. I mean, you've got DeMario Davis, who's into his 30s now, and you've got Pete Werner in year 2. You were so desperate for linebacker depth, you signed Kiko Alonso, who retired a day later. Forgive me, but I'm not getting super jacked about the long-term potential of Caden Ellis and Chase Hansen. Nice players, but please. You give me DeMario Davis and Roquan Smith? I mean, you set up a contract with Roquan Smith the way that Kai Harley knows how to work his cap magic and logistics, where you can have a backloaded contract where he can get his money up front, but you can spread it out over years, and how they structure deals to make sure the player's happy, but it also is cap friendly. And we know that with the new TV deal in the NFL, the cap is going to go up significantly, so you're going to be able to afford a player of this ilk. Yes, absolutely. I want Roquan Smith. I want a freak show linebacker in his mid-20s that can pair with DeMario Davis and ultimately take the torch from DeMario Davis when Davis retires. You know, the big question would be, what would it cost to get Roquan Smith? And I don't know that there's a great comp. I mean, you'd have to look at, okay, what's a top-tier defensive player in his prime worth at this point? And it's certainly going to be draft capital. And honestly, the first one that popped into my mind, and it's not apples to apples because this is a middle linebacker as opposed to an edge rusher, but it involves the Bears when they acquired Khalil Mack from the Raiders. And the Bears sent a 2019 first and 6th rounder and a 2020 first and 3rd. So 2 1s, a 6, and a 3 for Khalil Mack. What is Roquan Smith worth? The 8th overall pick, one of the best linebackers in football, 2-time All-Pro in his prime, something similar. Would you be willing to give up 4 picks, including 2 1s, for Roquan Smith? Now, in that Khalil Mack deal, the Bears also, the Raiders, also got Cole Kmet, Arlington Hambright, a 2nd-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. So there was a pick swap involved as well with players. So I think you can make it work. You're talking about a Saints organization that doesn't value draft capital anyway. So if you're going to trade it on draft day to move up to take a player that's still a question mark, why not trade a pick on someone that you know is a certainty in their prime? Got to make the call. You get a chance to add Roquan Smith to this defense, you at least make that. You at least go check the tag. See what it's going to cost. See if you can get a deal done. Now, I think the Bears are stupid if they trade Roquan Smith. They're stupid if they don't find a way to get this deal done with arguably the best young linebacker in football. But if they can't, bring him on. Hudak. All right, it's after further review. Let's talk some beer with Feinswog next.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. Tell you about them every single day. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450. How much has your energy bill gone up? How much more does it cost when you fill up at the pump? How much more does it cost when you buy your groceries every week? Inflation sucks. Everybody's paying more for everything. So how do you get some relief from it? Well, you either make more money or you find a way to save money. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana help with the latter. What if you could save money every month on your insurance coverage? It is possible, and Insurance Network of Louisiana helps people do it every single day, people just like you. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop to find you better coverage for less money. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Lee?
Hello, Matt.
Is that you?
It is. Don't get all excited. I can't promise I'll be here next Tuesday.
So you were gone for like 6 weeks, gallivanting across Europe or wherever you were. You come back for a week, and then you're gone again.
I've been gone. I was in Chicago last week, and yeah, it's that time. It's that time of year. You know, for everyone, it's a sprint to the start of the NCAA season, regardless of sport. I'm not giving you any dings today. There's going to be no dings.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I might be able to pry one out of you, but last time you were here, I did ask you for a beer drinking story, and you had none. And then on the way out, you were like, "Oh, I remembered one," and from your travels abroad. Do you have any top of mind?
Well, I was lucky. Well, the best one was me drinking beer in Amsterdam with Gert Hamink, as we talked about. But Gert wasn't drinking because I don't know if he drinks or doesn't drink, or he was driving.
Okay.
So it was just a beautiful day in Amsterdam and drinking beer. But we had this balcony and this hotel room in Split, Croatia, with as good a sunset view and a view of the Adriatic Sea, which is so beautifully blue that the pictures, people look at them and go, "Oh, that's fake." No, it really is that good. And, you know, one time you asked me about the best beers, and sometimes it's just where you have them. But the Croatian beers were really, really nice. And so that's I didn't do anything like stupid like other, you know, I've told you stories over the years of you know, crazy beer drinking. This was just enjoyable beer drinking. How's that?
I like it very, very much. So
I appreciate that.
You're back here, and football season is about to get going. I asked you earlier today if you were ever on the beat for LSU football, and the reason was because I've had some of like the old hats tell me, and I mean that literally in the most respectful way possible. Just guys who've covered the
right.
Look, man, this is my 15th season covering LSU, which it's hard to even believe, but there's guys who have done 30, 40, way longer than me. So,
oh yeah. But, well, you did celebrate your 40th birthday this summer, so we know right?
I did.
Yes,
but,
yes.
It's strange for me to have as much access as we do, because it feels like this has just gone, the way of the dinosaur. Maybe it was just that uncommon because it was Les Miles and Ed Ogeron who just didn't give great access. But this is how it was.
Yeah, in the 80s, I got to cover some LSU football now and then, and you go to practice. The one thing I remember was, obviously, it's very hot here in the summer. I mean, that's like a no-duh. And you go out to those fields, and it feels like the turf just has steam coming off it no matter what. And you'd stand, so you'd go to a light pole or a telephone pole near practice and turn yourself sideways so you could get as much of the shade as possible. I'm sure, that's the downside of it, just being so hot when you go out to practices. Now, what was really cool was in the mid-'80s, from 85 to 87, I covered Southern. And I was the beat writer, so I got to go to every practice. And the coach in 1985 was a guy named Otis Washington.
Sure.
The late Otis Washington was a great guy. We got that St. Aug dynasty going in New Orleans. And he encouraged me to come to practice. It wasn't like it would be closed. Of course, they were right out on the open street on Harding Boulevard. So it wasn't like, they could close practice unless they'd gone in the stadium, which they didn't do. But at the Advocate back then, this is almost hard to believe. There was a tie rule. Matt, everybody had to wear a tie. So and sports writers wearing ties. I mean, what could be more asinine, right? So I used to
I'm laughing because I can only imagine if today's beat writers had to wear ties to every event they went.
Right. It was just asinine. So, Matt, you were in New York City. Did you ever happen to notice women walking wearing sneakers but carrying high heels, for example, while you were there? That's something that, they carry their high heels, or they'll have them in a bag, but they wear sneakers, and then when they get to the office, they switch. Well, I used to have a pair of shorts and a T-shirt, and usually like flip-flops, and I would switch into that to cover Southern practice. And then I'd get back in my car and put on my, pair of slacks, a collared shirt, and actually, I would be careful to take the tie off because I didn't want to tie it more than once, and put it back on. So
was that Butch Muir who was the editor?
He was the editor, but it wasn't his edict. It came from above. I think the Advocate is much more intelligently owned and run now than it was then.
Feinswog.
It was at that time.
How is it that you go to hours-long practice in your shirt and tie and you never sweat? You're always back here.
I know. It was good. It was good. Yeah.
Nobody ever figured you out?
No, so that's why I loved going to basketball practice. You didn't sweat, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, and since you asked about open practice, you want to hear a story from that year, from 1985?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so one day that season, and that was the same season, Otis Washington had thrust upon him Doug Williams. He was a quarterback for the Tampa team in the old USFL, and that league folded, and Doug was in between seasons. Remember, they were a spring season, and
sure.
And then there was another. So he ended up. He was a volunteer coach. Doug was a great guy. He threw a really good pass. He was way better than the Southern quarterbacks at the time. But one day, Otis took a crack at a place kick. I don't know. He walked out there and he missed it. And I told him, I said, I'm way better place kicker than you. And there were kids around at the time, football players. And he looked at me and goes, yeah, right. And I go, kickoff. Come on, let's go. And he goes, all right. How about, he goes, whatever day it was, he goes, let's do it. We'll put the ball like at the 25 and then go back from there. And I said, all right. So I got out a set of cleats from, I was still playing soccer then. So I got out my cleats, I went to practice that day in shorts, t-shirt, and cleats. And at the end of practice, we go ahead and put the ball like on the 25. And I was a sidewinder, and Otis kicked straight on. so he might have made the 25, and I made the 25, and we backed it up to say 30, and he missed, and I hit it, and he looked at me, and I go, one thing I didn't tell you, Otis. Did what? I said, when I was 13, I was a punt, pass, and kick champion in my region.
Phenomenal.
And he looked at me, and I took it very, very seriously. So I backed it up. I backed it up to like 35 and hit the 35-yarder, and he missed the 35, and the kids were all going crazy, right? You know, all the players were just loving it. So, yeah, it was great. So talk about open practice. That was open practice. Now, I didn't tell them afterwards my foot hurt for like a week. You know,
it's interesting because at the end of the last hour, I mentioned about Justin Reed kicking a 65-yard field goal at Chiefs practice. This is the safety. Justin Reed went to Dutchtown. And I said, I didn't know if he kicked. And Kevin Gotro sent me an email. Said Justin handled kickoffs his senior year at Dutchtown. He kicked field goals when the kicker was hurt. He kicked a 50 to 55-yarder to close the first half in a playoff game against Barb. It's incredible. I mean, so
I did. Seriously, like when I was in college messing around with some of my friends once, I hit a 50-yarder from on a tee. And, I mean, I was young and strong, and my foot and leg hurt after hitting that ball. I mean, really, really did. And it was one of those dying quails by the time it got there and just made it through. But, to suggest that I could have ever been a place kicker for anybody is foolish. I'm not trying to even say that. I just, could hack around that and hit one and, cash in on one once in a while. But that day at Southern University, I did. And then, I cleaned up and put my tie on and went back to the office.
Before we talk about beer, which is the reason that you're really here, to tell us fun stories, talk about beer. Yesterday, our Citizens Bank poll question of the day on Twitter was, who do you want to be the starting quarterback at LSU? And sometimes I do these just as sort of like social test cases to kind of get a finger on the pulse. Now, I'll grant you, this is a non-scientific poll on Twitter, but I've been pretty consistent saying I think the LSU fan base is split. Half of them want Miles Brennan to get sort of the storybook ending after 6 years, and then the other half are really enticed by Garrett Nussmeier and the youth and the talent and all that sort of stuff. And this actually kind of played out that way. Miles Brennan got 49.5% of the vote, so just under 50% of the vote. Garrett Nussmeier was at 38%. Then Jaden Daniels, the Arizona State transfer, was at 10%, and Walker Howard at 2%. I think most everyone understands Walker Howard, the freshman, Jamie Howard's son, is going to redshirt. Do you have a feeling like, if I just said, not necessarily because you've seen them play or anything, just do you have a feeling of who you would like to see be the starting quarterback for LSU?
Well, yeah. Okay, I'll give you your ding. So, Miles Brennan. And
he didn't say why.
No.
Yet.
Oh, God. Matt, what are you going to do with those guys?
It's 427. I mean, he's occupied. He's popping the edibles right now. I mean, he's a little confused.
So
I really got him.
He's paid his dues. He's really done a great job, right? And you just have to root for this kid for a lot of reasons. And his mom, Megan, played volleyball at Tulane.
There it is. Got it. I
knew
I'd get it out of you, Lee. I knew I'd get that ding somewhere along the way. But I do think that's where a lot of LSU fans fall. I think he is the sentimental choice. I just don't think he's going to be the guy because it feels very much like this coaching staff wants a mobile quarterback. And what they're asking their quarterbacks to do is not what Miles Brennan does.
Matt, 7 quarterbacks on the roster, which is more than usual, I think. And interesting, Matt O'Dowd, the freshman, went to Marjorie Stoneham Douglas High School in Florida, which is known, unfortunately, for a mass shooting.
That's also, Stoneman Douglas is where, you're correct, but also where I believe Sean Ochinko played high school baseball, who was part of the 2009 championship team and then coached at LSU.
Yeah, and Garrett Nussmeier, it says Marcus High School and then on the roster, and then Lake Charles, but is that the same Marcus High School over in the Dallas area?
Right, so, this is Doug Nussmeier's son.
Yeah.
So he's moved around a lot, being the son of a coach he was with the Cowboys time, but he's born in Lake Charles. So he claims Louisiana, but has moved around a bunch.
I got it. Marcus High School. I was there this summer, and Matt, you've never seen anything like it. And Marcus Smart, coincidentally, is the greatest athlete probably to come out of Marcus High School, which has produced an incredible number of great athletes. I've been to colleges that don't even come close to Marcus High School in size. They have They have 4 gyms that seat well over 1,000 people
at one
in the
high
same
school?
high school. And somebody told me, oh, you ought to see this one right down the way. I think it was called Flower Mound or something. They said it's even bigger. It's just nuts.
Well,
and they have an indoor practice facility, which they all do.
In the
high school.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
In the Dallas area, they produce massive amounts of high school talent.
Ooh, and I know where you're going.
In Louisiana, we produce massive amounts of beer. There it was.
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use it. Beer, beer, beer.
Take it away.
Hey, that was a great transition, Matt. High fives to you.
That's why I sit in this chair, bud.
That's it. You're awesome. So, Second Line Brewery and brewing in New Orleans. So you know how Matt, how people from New Orleans they say just casually, yeah, you're right. It doesn't even mean anything. So like, yeah, you're right. So they have this beer there, this line called Yeah, You Ripe, R-I-P, P as in Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, You Ripe, and it's their sour ale. And this year's sour ale is the second line. Yeah, You Ripe, kiwi, peach, and hibiscus, and it is just outstanding. Tart, sweet, refreshing, nice. And I like sours, and I don't overdose on them, but this week I've been tinkering around with a bunch of different sours and trying them, but this one was truly my favorite. The Second Line Brewing, Yeah, You Ripe, kiwi, peach, and hibiscus. And a real unusual but excellent taste. Only 4.5%, none of that heavy stuff, but of course it is hot summertime, so I recommend that one.
Thank you, Lee.
This was thoroughly enjoyable, Matt. Talk to you maybe next Tuesday.
We'll see if we can make it happen, and you can thrill us with more stories of yesteryear, of you making field goals against old Southern football coaches.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. See ya. That's Lee Feinswog. This is After Further Review. We'll continue next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Mark Fleming is a chief economist at First American. And this week he said, as a homeowner gains equity in their home, they're more likely to consider using that equity to purchase a larger or more attractive home. That makes a lot of sense. And a lot of times that happens as your family grows. If you're in that situation where maybe you're looking to upsize, call Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. If you have questions about the market, Darren has the answers. He'll give you a full market report as you're going through the whole process. Darren will make you the most informed buyer or seller that you could possibly imagine. It's why Darren ends up on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. You need to sell your home? You need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile power.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Thanks again to Lee Feinswog. Maddy Hudak was here to open the show if you missed it for our Saints camp report. Jameis, no show today, dealing with that injury. Is not going to play Saturday against the Texans. No big surprise there. And Shelton Sampson, in about 45 minutes from right now, talk about his commitment to LSU. Will Campbell was a massive commitment to LSU in the last class. And Mekhi Wingo was a massive transfer commitment for LSU. Both justifiably have been named among ESPN's top 50 newcomers in college football, either transfers or freshmen, just newcomers into where they are. So they listed the top 50, and those were the two LSU players on the list. Will Campbell was 16th, and Mekhi Wingo at 20th. But it's a lot of respect for Mekhi Wingo. When LSU added him, I'm not so sure we even had collectively that big of an expectation on Mekhi Wingo when he was added. But the more and more praise that he's gotten from third parties, I think has just increased the amount of intrigue and excitement for Wingo. And of course, he was on the show, about a week ago where he talked about how excited he is, how proficient he is as an interior pass rusher, and what he might be able to bring this already very deep defensive line. So I'm good with both being on this list. Will Campbell, as we've talked about the offensive line, the one sort of certainty with this offensive line appears to be Campbell. The fact that he's going to be your starting left tackle. As a matter of fact, Muse, give me this cut today from B.J. Ojulari talking about Will Campbell. This was B.J. Ojulari when he met with the media on Tuesday.
He's a great guy, great teammate. But Coach Davis, he's getting him ready to play. He's shown a lot of improvement since the spring, definitely in his pass blocking and definitely at the point of attack. So going against him, we're just making each other better.
So B.J. Ojulari talking about Will Campbell. There's no question, it seems, at this point that Will Campbell's going to be your starting left tackle. So you get a place like LSU, and you get a true freshman who was a 5-star and one of the best players in the country. The ESPN 300 had him as the 14th overall player. I mean, obvious why he'd be on this list, and it makes a lot of sense. Wingo was freshman All-SEC. He's added depth to a really deep offensive line room. I was thinking about who wasn't on this list that might make a big impact at LSU that could, at the end of the season, when we look back at it, be on this list. And there's two names I would give you. One is Jark Bernard-Converse. And that one feels kind of obvious because if there's one other player in this transfer class that has proven to be maybe more influential than we initially thought at the time of the transfer, it's Jark Bernard-Converse. When he announced he was coming to LSU, it was easy to look back at his recruiting profile. Coming out of Evangel, not a highly regarded guy, but played a ton at Oklahoma State. Started 47 consecutive games. That set the record in that program for the most consecutive starts. He was a first-team All-Big 12 performer. It's fair to wonder, like, okay, well, maybe a lot of that's just consistency, longevity, maybe not great defenses in that league. However you want to slice it, though, but it's been pretty clear. When you've had Pro Football Focus and a lot of other entities rank these types of things, his name keeps popping up. So there's a lot of people who cover football nationally have looked at that guy and said, yeah, he's an impact guy. But I'd submit to you the other one is Jayden Daniels. And, you know, we had the poll question on the show yesterday, and I phrased it the way I did because it was, again, more of a social experiment. It was kind of to confirm what I thought was the case, which is you've got two segments of LSU fans. You've got the LSU fans that are very, very hopeful for Miles Brennan to be the starting quarterback. I've said this a lot over the summer. Miles Brennan committed to Les Miles and Cam Cameron. He has been part of our lives for a long time. I mean, he has been part of our lives since 2016. So we have seen Miles Brennan. He's been we know what he's persevered through. I mean, he was trying to win the job back in 2017 when Matt Canada was here and they lost to Troy. He sat behind Burrow in 18 and 19. He was supposed to be the guy in 20 and 21. Injuries derailed that. Y'all know the story. So I think he's the sentimental favorite. And that the poll question we put up, half of you are pulling for Miles. It wasn't who do you think is the best quarterback. It was who do you want to be the quarterback. And half of you said Miles Brennan. And roughly 40% of you said Garrett Nussmeier, because I think a lot of y'all have the hope for the shiny new toy, as I phrased it. But Jayden Daniels is a bit of an unknown, and only 10% of you voted for Jayden Daniels in the poll. And again, it's not a scientific poll, but I understand that premise. But the other thing I'm going to point out is if Jayden Daniels wins that quarterback job, or if he ends up playing a really significant role for LSU in 2022, how is he not on this list? And the top of the list is just littered with quarterbacks. It's Caleb Williams. It's Jackson Dart. It's Dylan Gabriel. It's all a whole bunch of transfer quarterbacks or who are at or near the top of this list. I mean, Elias Ricks is number 5 on the list, the cornerback who left LSU and is now at Alabama. But Jayden Daniels could ultimately be the most impactful of all of the LSU transfers if he ends up winning the starting job or playing a key role on this offense. And I'm going to say again what I've said all along, which is there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that points to Daniels being the guy or being in the mix. Number one, you didn't have to go get him. If you were content with the quarterback room you had, you didn't have to add Jayden Daniels, but you did. We listened to Mike Denbrock talk yesterday, and it is abundantly clear listening to Denbrock that they want a mobile quarterback. Well, there's two guys that fit that bill. It's Daniels and Nussmeier. So, and of those two, one guy started 30 games in his career, and the others never started. We saw him play extensively one time last year against Arkansas, and he wasn't good. So, again, it's all circumstantial. I'm not telling you I know this definitively or anything. I'm not leaning any way. I don't feel bullish about it at all. But my point that I've made and will continue to make is there's a lot of reasons to think Daniels has a great chance to win the job. And if he does, and he becomes the starting quarterback at LSU year one under Brian Kelly, you'd have to reset this list because Jayden Daniels would have to be on it. I'm excited. Thursday, we'll get in Tiger Stadium and get a look at these guys, hopefully in some team drills. Give us a much better sense of where these quarterbacks stand, how the offensive line's coming along as well. If you feel bullish on LSU this year, of course, you can go make a bet. DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of AFR. DraftKings Sportsbook is there for you. You want to make futures bets on LSU. You want to bet on the win totals. You want to bet on national awards. You want to bet on NFL win totals, props, division winners, awards like Comeback Player of the Year, Super Bowl odds, any of it. It's there at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Of course, you can always bet every single day on Major League Baseball, international soccer, whatever your favorite sport is. If you want to bet on it, you can do so at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So right now, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. DraftKings has just been such an awesome partner of ours here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and all of our shows and our station here. DraftKings, again, the official sports betting partner of AFR. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Right now, for a limited time, new customers can get a risk-free bet of up to $1,000. That's right, your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Lose, no worries. They'll give you another bite at the apple. That's the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. All right, y'all. Shelton Sampson, 30 minutes from right now. Looking forward to that conversation. You can join us. You can email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or text us in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways that you can get involved in the show. I am curious your thoughts on the quarterback situation because that poll that I went through, it's, again, small sample size, non-scientific, but I think that is representative of how the LSU fan base feels. Let me know your thoughts. You can text me, 225-396-4400. All right, we'll wrap up the hour with Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Got a message today from a friend who said, hey, got a customer. They have a home standby generator. They need it serviced. Does Schutz Electric do that? Yes, as a matter of fact, when I had my home standby generator installed from Schutz, I bought their maintenance package. So they'll maintain it, make sure that it's in tip-top shape all throughout the year. Schutz isn't like some other companies that just sell generators on the side of what they do. Schutz has a generator division where the people who work only in the generator division. This is what they do. It's Schutz Electric. Y'all, storm season's here at any moment. Not meaning to scare you or anything, but storm can come in the Gulf, and you know the pain of a storm coming ashore and knocking out your power and having to wait in line for gas and wait in line for ice and to sweat without any power AC. It's miserable. Doesn't have to be. That's why we installed and had Schutz install a home standby generator from Generac at our home. You should do the same. It's affordable. Financing is available. Learn more online. CESofLA.com.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy. Step up your seltzer game.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Well, the Otter got him a few last night. Had a question asking if Otter's back. Of course he's back tonight. He's not back in Louisiana, but he's back for our lives. He gave us the Orioles last night, did he not, against the Blue Jays? He gave us the Yankees, which did hit. And then there was a parlay. It was a Yankees-Padres moneyline parlay, which did not hit.
The Padres lost.
San Diego got shut out 1-0. You mean it takes more to win in baseball than just a slugger?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
the Angels have learned that over the last decade.
Have they?
Okay, they haven't learned their lesson.
Okay.
But the point has been proven.
Yes.
Wasn't there? Did he give us the Mets last night? Was that the other one?
I don't think so.
Cubs, Nationals. I thought there was one more last night. Oh, was it the Angels, A's? Did he give us the A's? I think he gave us the A's.
He did. He did go back to Cole Irvin. That did not hit.
The A's lost to the Angels.
2-2 night for the Otter, technically.
2-2, yes. Otter needs to get back quick, bro. Woo! All right, Musa. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Speaking of those Padres, you know what might have helped them, Matt? They gave Austin Nola the start instead of just bringing him off the bench. Because when they brought him off the bench for their starting catcher, who was 0 for 2, Austin Nola promptly singled, went 1 for 1 in a pinch hit duty.
That's what we do, Muse.
Averages up to 246.
That's what we do, Muse.
Maybe need to get the guy a little bit more PT. Just saying. DJ LeMahieu's getting plenty of playing time. He did not go there. He is from Michigan.
We've been over this.
It doesn't. No. Just because it's a brother school,
it works.
It does not work. He did not go there.
It's my show.
Okay, but he didn't go there.
Calicut.
You know what he did do? Went 2 for 5 last night at the top of the Yankee order. Both of them singles. Would come around to score on one of those singles as well. The average just continues to climb for DJ since the All-Star break. 290 now as the Bronx Bombers leadoff hitter. And then finally, get you another update on Savannah Jaquish, who, of course, Athletes Unlimited softball. Last time out, we told you she was the second-ranked player in the league. She's down 1 spot this week, but still the third-ranked player. They do new teams each week, so they just had another draft. She's a team captain again. Team Jaquish will take on Team McClinney on August the 12th in their next game. For what it's worth, the captain of Team McClinney is the second-ranked player. Jaquish just 20 points behind her, though. Moving on up. Aaliyah Andrews, another former Tiger, also in Athletes Unlimited as well. And they're popping up everywhere, man. those former Tigers in the pros. That's Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge has gone to get engaged for 40 years, where all of Louisiana can go to get engaged because there are locations all over the state. But right here in Baton Rouge, 2 locations, corporate in Bocage and in the Mall of Louisiana. So many questions when you're buying that diamond. Size, shape, setting, all of it. They have all the answers at Lee Michaels, and they'll always give you the Lee Michaels experience, no matter your budget. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Shelton Sampson's coming up 20 minutes from right now. It will be a big recruiting weekend. We have learned, of course, Ricky Collins is the quarterback from Woodlawn, set to announce tomorrow, Wednesday. And then Kylan Jackson, the safety out of Zachary, moved his commitment. He's going to announce on Saturday. He is down to LSU and Texas A&M. So it would be really nice to jab Texas A&M in the nose again this weekend. So all that is coming up. Hour number 3, next.
AFR.
If you want to look and feel like your younger self, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Maybe it's starting with the feeling part. Struggle to fall asleep at night? Struggle to sleep through the night? Don't wake up feeling refreshed? Find it difficult to be motivated to get into the gym? When you do get into the gym, find it difficult to burn fat, build muscle, all that sort of stuff? Natural part of the aging process is our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. It happens in literally every human, and it happens in all of us at a different rate. And stress can be an accelerator of aging. Hormone replacement therapy could be the answer. And a simple blood test can let you know. Got nothing to lose. Go for that blood test. Sit down with Dr. Todd Howell. Let him review your labs and see if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Bluebonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey, and Lafayette, and online. TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell today said the league seeks a tougher penalty for Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson because his actions were egregious and predatory behavior. Last week, the NFL formally appealed Watson's 6-game suspension handed down by the NFL's disciplinary officer for violating the personal conduct policy following allegations of sexual misconduct. Serena Williams says her tennis career is winding down, citing a desire to grow her family. Williams, in a first-person essay for Vogue.com, admitted she had mixed feelings about her next chapter, didn't even like using the word retirement, instead opting for evolution. There's only one way to describe Serena, a 23 major singles champion and Olympic gold medalist, according to ESPN tennis analyst Mary Jo Fernandez.
I still consider Serena Williams the best of all time. I mean, hands down, she was so dominant for so long. Best serve we've ever seen, and the numbers back it up. I just feel like she has really been the best player that we've seen on so many different levels.
Williams implied that she will try to play in this month's U.S. Open in her final tournament.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Conversation with Shelton Sampson coming up in 15 minutes from right now. 5-star wide receiver committed to LSU over the weekend. We all know he picked the Tigers over Bama, A&M, Florida State, and about 40 other offers. So talk to Shelton Sampson about picking LSU, this coaching staff. Talk about Ricky Collins as well. Set to announce tomorrow. Could be throwing dimes to Shelton Sampson over the next 4 years in Baton Rouge. There's some news involving the New Orleans Saints. Cat Terrell and others have tweeted some roster moves. Most notably, linebacker DeMarco Jackson has been placed on IR. DeMarco Jackson is the rookie linebacker out of Appalachian State. So the Saints signed defensive back T.J. Carter. They placed DeMarco Jackson and Dylan Mabin on IR, and then Marcus Davenport passed his physical, so he comes off of the PUP list and onto the roster. So notably there, of course, Davenport coming back, but DeMarco Jackson, the rookie linebacker, placed on injured reserve. It is worth noting, of course, now in the NFL, reminding you can return off of IR, but that certainly isn't a good thing as of this point. We did spend some time an hour ago, if you missed it, talking about Roquan Smith, the Saints' grave need at linebacker, exacerbated today by DeMarco Jackson going on IR. And honestly, when you were maybe counting on Marco Jackson, Caden Ellis, Chase Hansen, while they might be nice players, you are taking a pretty significant step back. And you have two guys at the front, one who's sensational, Demario Davis, and Pete Werner, who is a second-year player who there's a lot of optimism around how he might develop. So much so that they were willing to offer Quan Alexander a lesser deal this year and rock with Pete Werner. but there has to be more meat on the bone, and it can't just be depth pieces. If they have an opportunity to go get Roquan Smith, it'll be interesting to see if they get in the mix. Now, Marcus Davenport was back, former first-round pick. Massive year for Marcus Davenport, as we've talked about. This is his contract year. It's his 5th NFL season. So for Davenport, he's playing for a second contract, be it in New Orleans or somewhere else. Dennis Allen today did talk about Marcus Davenport returning to the field for the Saints.
I think we got him out here today for some walkthrough, individual. That'll kind of be the routine probably for a few days. And then hopefully as we keep going, we'll begin to ramp him up into some pass rush drills or some 9-on-7 or, maybe even some team reps at some point in time. But we're certainly not there yet.
It's a tale as old as time, y'all, with respect to this team. And with Davenport, you know it, 4 years in the league. He's yet to play a full season. When he's healthy, he has been awesome and disruptive and one of the highest graded defensive linemen in the NFL. The problem is he hasn't been healthy. If he can stay healthy and play a full season, awesome. Would love to see it. He'll get rewarded for it, but he's got to go do it. And you're right to be skeptical because you have a 4-year sample to suggest he won't stay healthy. Let's see if he can. Jameis Winston did not practice today. Dennis Allen gave an update on the quarterback.
Jameis, basically kind of sprained his foot a little bit yesterday. He's really day-to-day. I don't really think it's going to be that big of a challenge, but certainly, we're going to make sure that we get him back healthy before we put him back out here.
Is it safe to assume he won't play Saturday?
Correct.
That's really great to hear him phrase it day-to-day. If he was out indefinitely, that would leave a little more concern. Again, I'd be concerned if he injured his foot on Monday before the season opener. Now you're a little more than 4 weeks out from the season opener. I'm good. Just be ready to go against the Falcons on September the 11th in Atlanta. But the Jameis injury did spark this question from a lot of people today, and I got a lot on Twitter. I'm sure y'all have talked about it around the water cooler with friends or whatever. But with the 49ers, all these NFL teams release their first depth chart, and Jimmy G is 4th on the Niners depth chart at quarterback. And it's no secret they're trying to move Jimmy Garoppolo. They're trying to trade him. And there's no team yet that's been willing to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo because they know they've got the Niners by the yin-yang. Why would you give San Francisco an asset to get Jimmy G when you could just wait for the 49ers to cut him and then go sign him? So it doesn't make a lot of sense for a team right now to do a deal for Jimmy Garoppolo. And I don't know if you would agree with this, but I would actually prefer Andy Dalton to Jimmy Garoppolo. Am I stupid? Here's my point. Yes, Garoppolo's younger. Yes, Garoppolo's teams have made it further in the playoffs. He's been to a Super Bowl. They were in the NFC Championship game last year. Not denying that at all. Can't we also agree, though, that the Niners won in spite of Garoppolo, not because of Garoppolo? The game manager type, great defense, running game, all that stuff, right? I mean, that's sort of the narrative around it. In Cincinnati, Andy Dalton was the man. He just wasn't good enough to get him over the hump. And I don't know that the Saints are built to do what Jimmy G did in San Francisco. Maybe. I mean, I love the defense, and there are weapons there, no doubt. And you could even argue at the beginning of the season last year, Jameis was kind of a game manager. So maybe there's some validity to that. But I also don't think you're winning big with that approach. But Dalton's 34, Jimmy G's 30. Dalton's played 11 seasons, Garoppolo 8. I mean, Andy Dalton started 100 games more than Jimmy Garoppolo. Dalton started 148, Garoppolo started 47. So 101 more games started than Jimmy G. I mean, to be clear, age and experience aren't the only factor that you'd care about here, because if that were the case, I mean, look, Andy Dalton's got more experience than Joe Burrow. Of course you'd prefer Joe Burrow. That goes without saying at all. But or Josh Allen. Of course it goes without saying. But I don't know if I'm the Saints that I mean, you had an option. Now, granted, Andy Dalton didn't cost you. I mean, you have to trade for Andy Dalton. But you could have had the option if you were enticed by Garoppolo to go get him. And you didn't. I think they're content with where they are. Maybe I'm crazy to think it. And I do think the injuries are inevitable. And a year ago, 7 weeks into the season when Jameis tears an ACL, if you had an opportunity to add a Jimmy Garoppolo, okay, you're 5-2. You're in the hunt. Yes, give me a competent starting quarterback. I'm there. But he wasn't available a year ago. He is now. There's going to be a team that has an injury, and when they do, that team will trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, or 49ers will play this game of chicken, and maybe they'll get to a point where they're not going to keep him on their active roster, so they cut him. I mean, that's a possibility as well. But if you gave me the option, I would prefer Dalton over Garoppolo. Couple of more here from Dennis Allen today. He did talk about Michael Thomas, who continues to go through team drills, which is great to see.
You know, I think every day it gets a little bit better. And I think we're seeing that with a lot of guys. I mean, obviously, you know, he's kind of the big story because he's coming off the injury and really hadn't played much in a couple of years. And we're all excited about having Mike back. He's attacked every part of his rehab with the same way you see him come out here and practice every day. He's 110% in everything that he does, and he's done a really nice job of getting himself ready. I think he's in a good spot again, and I'm excited to watch him play.
So that's Dennis Allen giving an update after practice today. Taysom Hill did also speak, and he's kind of been nursing this rib injury. Here was Taysom on how he's avoiding continuing to have that rib be affected.
Yeah, I have a custom, rib protector and something that they made me that, has like a little dimple in the front to take away pressure of where the rib was displaced. And so we'll continue to at this point, you got to make sure you're not taking unnecessary risk to re-injure that area, but protected. And so I've got that. I imagine I'll be wearing that for a while.
He said he's still learning the tight end position and kind of gave an update here on how camp has gone for him.
Yeah, this camp has been a little bit of a whirlwind for me. Overall, I'm feeling good. I'm still in this kind of ramp-up phase, obviously coming off the foot, and feel like the foot did really well this offseason, the first couple days, and then I had the ribs, and so now I'm just starting to ramp up again and take it one day at a time.
He had the foot, and now he has the ribs. So he had the foot, now has the ribs, but taking it a day at a time. Thankfully, he doesn't have a knee, doesn't have a head, or a shin, or a hip. He had the foot, and now has the ribs. All right, so we'll keep watching that here throughout camp with Taysom Hill as he gets closer and closer to 100%, hopefully for that season opener. We're taking it slow right now. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're aboard with us here. Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Commercial or residential. A lot of people have been surprised when I've mentioned commercial, and maybe I should be mentioning it more. But yes, at Hudco Roofing, we will do any type of job, big or small, from the smallest replacement or leak, rather, the smallest roof repair, to the largest commercial building roof replacement that needs to be done. We want to help. Get a free inspection, HudcoRoofing.com. You'll see the right there on the home page, where it's on the right side, it says get your free inspection, fill out a little bit of info, and we'll be there to help you out. Hudco Roofing, serving the state of Louisiana for more than 20 years now. Louisiana-owned, Louisiana-operated, Louisiana people, Louisiana shingles. That's us at Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. All right, we'll knock out a quick break, y'all. When we come back, Shelton Sampson will join us, 5-star wide receiver out of Calic High in Baton Rouge, made his commitment to Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers over the weekend. Our conversation with Shelton Sampson is next.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
LSU fans got awesome news this weekend, long-awaited news, when five-star wide receiver out of Catholic High, Shelton Sampson, made his pledge to the Tigers there on the Catholic High campus, and Shelton's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Man, we appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm good.
Man, I bet you are. I was thinking about this. When you first kind of went viral at that Curdog Combine in 2020, it's been 2 years, man. 2 years where your recruitment has been so heavily focused. To finally have it behind you now, how do you feel? Like, what kind of emotions do you have right now?
I mean, I'm just feeling good. I'm just happy. I mean, to get it over with and focus on my senior season.
Are you relieved at all? I mean, was there? I think sometimes we don't think enough about how much pressure that can put on a guy at 16, 17, 18 years old, having that much expectation and attention on you.
I mean, it was, but at the same time, I don't try to put too much pressure on myself because, I mean, that just leads to stressing and all type of stuff. So
Yeah, man. When did you make your decision?
The week of my decision.
Yeah, I know Will Stout produced all the hype videos for you, so I guess you had to let him in on the secret, right? To produce the video. Who else knew before you actually made the announcement?
I mean, it was just Will, my parents, and Hayes Fawcett, the dude who made my commitment edit, like the photographic. So it wasn't too many people.
Yeah, man. Hayes has been on the show a bunch over the years. He's got a cool story as well. What was your parents' reaction when you told them that you were going to be staying home?
They were just excited that I chose to stay here, not too far from home, not far at all.
Man, someone tweeted me this week, and they took a screenshot of all of the Redemptrist weightlifting records from the 90s and 2000s. And so your dad, that's when I played as well, but your dad was all over that, man. I want to read for you his maxes. Okay, have you seen this?
Nah, he told me what they all were though.
All right, what did you remember?
Nah, I don't remember. I just remember being some big numbers.
All right, here you go. Because his senior season, he's got the all-time record, okay? His bench was 300 pounds. How much do you do?
About two something.
Well, two something, Shelton, could be 205 or 295.
Yeah, like 205, really.
He cleaned 285.
Yeah.
He inclined 265, and he squatted 660.
Ooh.
What do you squat?
I squat like 375.
Which is a big number, but you see 660, man. Your pops
compared to that.
Your pops is a beast. Does he ever flex on you a little bit?
Nah, he kind of quiet like me. He don't be flexing none of that.
I hear you. Shelton Sampson's with us. He's on Twitter at Shelton_Sampson. Y'all give him a follow on all the socials. By the way, I noticed that you did drop your NIL merch announcement last night, a deal you brokered with Matchpoint. Tell us a little bit about that if people want to get Shelton Sampson merch.
People want to get Shelton Sampson merch, you could click the link in my Instagram bio. I think it's also in my Twitter bio. They got shirts and hoodies. Say why not on them with my logo on the back, or I think it's on the front.
Y'all check it out. A deal brokered through Matchpoint, so you can support Shelton as well as he's coming to LSU. Hey, I want to ask you. I mentioned a bit ago about that Cur Dog Combine that you all did in the summer of 2020 when COVID had happened, and I think everyone sort of remembers. You know, as a rising sophomore, you ran a 4.35, and then you went viral.
Right.
What was that like for you? Like, do you remember immediately when you realized, oh man, like this is a big deal, because you started getting offer after offer after offer?
When I realized it was a big deal, it was later that day. I had got my first offer from Virginia, and then later that night I got another offer from Mississippi State, and I was just jumping all around the house like it didn't even feel real.
How back then? How involved was LSU in your recruitment early?
I mean, they was involved with the old coaching staff. They was one of my first offers. So, I mean, that relationship been there with them.
How did it feel for you, or did your feeling change at all when the staff changed, when the staff turned over?
I mean, I didn't really know how to feel at all, because, I mean, I didn't know who they were going to hire, who was going to come in. Like, I was just as nervous as everybody else was.
So now that the staff is in place and you're committed, I'd love to know your feelings. I'm just gonna name a couple of coaches. Just tell me what your relationship is like and what your impressions have been. So let's just start at the top with Brian Kelly. What's your relationship like there, and what's been sort of your feeling on Coach Kelly?
I mean, I love Coach Kelly. He came in, he flipped. It seemed like he flipped the whole narrative of the program, going in the right direction. And I mean, he was the person I called when I committed, so that relationship is there.
What about your receiver coach, Cortez Hankton?
Coach Hankton, I would love to be coached by Coach Hankton. That's really, I ain't going to say that was the deciding factor, but that played a major role in choosing was the receiver coach.
What is it about Cortez that make, because you're not the first guy that's told me that. What is it about him? And obviously, in a relative, did you know him at Georgia, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you had a little relationship. What is it about him that makes it so personal? That makes guys want to go play for him?
I mean, I know, like, with him as my coach, I'm not only going to get developed on the field, but also as a young man and my character. So just knowing that I'll be in good hands, that made my mama feel good, my parents, my whole family, really.
Sure. Have you gotten to know Coach Denbrock at all yet?
Yes, sir. I sat and watched film with him on one of my unofficials.
Well, so what was that like when you were sitting there? Like, what can you tell us what it's like sitting there watching film with Coach Denbrock?
No, I mean, he's just a offensive minded guy. I mean, he know what he's talking about. The offense gonna be in good hands with him.
Couple more for you. Shelton Sampson's our guest. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, on Instagram. His Twitter is at Shelton_Sampson. We know Ricky Collins is going to make his commitment on Wednesday.
Right.
He's not the last local guy. We know that Kylan Jackson is going to make his commitment over the weekend. Are you actively helping recruit some of these guys in the Baton Rouge area in this class?
Yeah, most definitely. I talk to them two guys every day. So, I mean, I'm feeling good about where we at with them.
All right. LSU fans are going to love to hear that. Is it? I mean, I want just a couple more. I'm curious. How important is that for you, for Ricky, for we saw Tyree Adams commit. Like a lot of the guys in the state to stay home and to represent Louisiana.
I mean, it means a lot. Like I feel like Louisiana, we got the best football. So if we keep all our talent in the state, we're gonna go far with it. And Rick. I feel like me and Rick would be a dynamic duo. Like, we've been playing 7-on-7 together, been knowing each other since we was little, so that relationship already there.
Wait, so you and Ricky Collins have been playing 7-on-7 since how old were you?
Like 14, 15.
Okay, so y'all have had years together working together.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hey, last thing before you go, what do you feel like in your senior year that you want to improve on, you want to work on before you get to campus?
I just want to improve on being a leader for the young guys. I mean, I feel like it's getting there, but I still got some work to do with, like, being vocal and stuff like that.
Bears going to get another one?
Yeah, most definitely.
That's what I love to hear. Let's go get another one, man. 3-peat. Let's do it.
Yes, yes, sir.
He is Shelton Sampson, LSU commit, 5-star wide receiver, top-ranked player in the class now. Hey, man, congrats on your decision, to you, your whole family. Best of luck, man. We'll look forward to catching up again down the line.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, that is Shelton Sampson. You didn't think I was going to do it, Muse? Of course I was going to do it. Oh, man. I think this is. All right, it's after further review. Appreciate Shelton Sampson for a couple of minutes with us here. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Locations from sea to shining sea. 29 offices in 11 different states, celebrating 75 years in business. That's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com to learn more. Michelli.com. You can go to the website. If you're interested in working at Michelli, I'll continue to remind you they are hiring. Go to Michelli.com, hit the careers tab at the top, and you'll see where it says apply now for whatever position it is that you are interested in, be it in the New Orleans Harahan office, the Baton Rouge office, or the Lake Charles office. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They do offer ISO 17025 accreditation. They service all scale measurement equipment makes and models. Learn more about all the different services they offer at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, it's after further review. A couple other things I want to hit on. We do know now when the Saints will wear their black helmet, their alternate helmet, at least in what game. I want to talk about that in just a quick second. Also, not only earlier in the show, we let you hear from Garrett Dellinger, who did meet with the media. If you missed that, that was in hour number 1. You can go back and check it out. Also from B.J. Ojolari, Jay Bramblett, and Malik Neighbors today when they met with the media. So some of what Jay Bramblett and B.J. Ojolari had to say as they took their turn meeting with the media earlier as fall camp for LSU continues on. Otter locks in about 15 minutes from right now. Glad you're hanging out. It's AFR.
AFR.
Every night is a great night to get by Pluckers. Tuesday, 2 reasons, of course, that make Tuesday night fantastic at Pluckers. Every Tuesday, kids eat free. So kids are back in school. If you want to get a little bit of a time out, break the routine a little bit, you can get by Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall, Louisiana. Or maybe just because you're too busy and all the time to cook, no worries. Get on by Pluckers every Tuesday. Kids eat free. Also, Tuesday, sports trivia at the Nicholson location. That's just south of Tiger Stadium. You're on Nicholson, you're going south, about a mile south of Tiger Stadium on the left. You can't miss it. Our buddy Hunt Palmer hosts sports trivia, 8:30 every Tuesday, 5 rounds, live action trivia. And remember, every team on trivia nights gets to spin the trivia prize wheel. So even if you don't win a round, every team wins something at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So we know the Saints, we knew the Saints were going to wear a black helmet this year. That alternate had already been announced. The NFL, of course, is allowing for alternate helmets this year. It had been thought to be a safety rule where only one helmet that was fitted for each player could be worn throughout the season. So if the helmet were a different color, then you couldn't wear an alternate, obviously. But they've changed that rule now, and we knew the Saints had already introduced a black helmet. We didn't know when they were going to wear it, however, and the Saints did announce today on their social media they will wear the black helmet against the Vikings in London. So October the 2nd, when the Saints play in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. It'll be an early morning kickoff, but the Saints are going to wear the black helmet in that game. They have not announced what uniform combo they're going to wear, however, but when you look at all the pictures that they've released of the black helmet, it's Cam Jordan modeling it, and he's wearing, unfortunately, the Color Rush uniform, which I think is beautiful, and I love the Saints Color Rush uniform. I hate the Saints Color Rush uniform with that gaudy black helmet. They had a chance to do something really good with the black helmet. I think they kind of screwed it up. Should have gone with the bigger fleur-de-lis, the old gold look, and that awful fleur-de-lis pattern running down the stripe of the helmet is terrible. But anyway, I was thinking about this earlier because I was thinking about what uniform combo I would like to see with a black helmet. And as much as I don't like the Saints all black uniforms, I think with a black helmet, that would be an instance where you could rock it. I also think alternating colors, if you went black, white, black, would look good. Black helmet, white jerseys, black pants. I do not like the white jersey, black pant combo, but with a black helmet, I think it would look, it could look cleaner. I guess part of me thought about this because when I just thought we had Shelton on the show and we were showing some of his highlights. And of course, Catholic has black and orange, so all the uniforms will wear all black, or they'll go like, black, white, white, or black, white, black, as far as the uniform combo, that, helmet, jersey, pant color. And you have some, you have a lot of different options when you go that direction. But what I would not like to see is ruining the Color Rush uniform, which is so clean and so fine, with the black helmet. I wish, honestly, what they would do is have an old gold helmet that would match the gold of the Color Rush uniforms. That would be phenomenal. But we'll see. We know that for sure, though, that they'll wear the black helmet against the Vikings when they go play in London. All right, it's after further review. We are brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. We'll get to some of what B.J. Ojolari and Jay Bramblett had to say when they met with the media today. I got a text earlier today, and I love when I get stuff like this. It was from Nathan Davis. Hopefully he doesn't mind me mentioning his name. But he said, "Hey, I hear your ads for Relief Windows all the time. I just left out of their showroom. I have an appointment to come to the house on Friday. Thanks for the quality sponsors. Wouldn't have known about their siding. Also, you're doing a great job with the show. Keep it up." I appreciate it, Nathan. The siding is something that I mentioned I should keep mentioning more. You can transform the look of the exterior of your home in 2 weeks' time. And at Relief Windows, I always talk about experience, quality, service. With the quality, they nail, old-fashioned, hammer and nail every piece of siding. It's not stapled, which obviously isn't going to hold as well as hammer and nail. It's going to take longer. It's more labor-intensive, but it's the right way to do it. So that's why Relief Windows does it that way. 288-8138, 288-8138. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. So B.J. Ojolari and Jay Bramblett met with the media. Bramblett, of course, is the punter who left Notre Dame after being a 3-year starter there. He's going to play his final season of eligibility at LSU. Here is Bramblett talking about why he picked the Tigers.
Very blessed to be here, first off. I'm very thankful. Being at Notre Dame with Coach Kelly, Coach Polian, was great. Made the personal decision I wanted to transfer, and that was before they ever made a decision to come down here. And, reached out to them once I got in the transfer portal and was like, hey, let me know if y'all ever have the need. I'd love to come play for you again. And ended up working out. And, I really appreciate them. They gave me the opportunity to play ball up there and doing it again down here, and getting to be back in the SEC and South, warm weather, all that stuff. It's great.
It's interesting, isn't it, that Bramblett was in the portal before Brian Kelly left Notre Dame. So it's not an instance where this is a guy who his coach left, and so he jumped into the portal. The opposite was true, and it worked out. So why did he leave Notre Dame after being a 3-year starter?
I didn't, honestly. I love Notre Dame and the people there, the relationships I made, and a lot of people say it takes a special person to go to Notre Dame, to be a Notre Dame man, and all that stuff. And there's a lot that entails. I don't think that was necessarily me. And I just felt like I needed a fresh start, a little reset. And I had no clue where that was going to be. And it just so happened that, the two of them came down here, and, it was kind of something I was had in my head. Didn't really have an outlet for it, but ended up working out well.
Not sure if you're familiar, but Bramblett is from Tuscaloosa. So he's from Tuscaloosa, went to Notre Dame, and now has found himself in Baton Rouge. One more. This is Bramblett on Brian Kelly.
Hey, man, the guy, he's got a process, and I know y'all have probably seen it. And he's got we have a mission statement, we have process, we have these traits of excellence that we're supposed to live by. And he's been very advocate about that and us living that way. And obviously, it's a little different application, different message, but similar deal. I think one thing is, doing it every day, being the same guy every day, consistency, cleaning the locker room up, being a good guy, being respectful, being on time, doing the small things right. And, the guy's won a lot of games, and it's not by mistake. He's got a process, he's got a plan, and he relays that plan to everybody really well. And I think that speaks for itself.
That much has been very clear so far. Again, that was Jay Bramblett, Notre Dame transfer coming in, will likely be LSU's starting punter. So that's a guy who's known Brian Kelly for his entirety of his college career. B.J. Ojulari is just getting to know his head coach, Brian Kelly. Here's what Ojulari said today when he met with the media about his new head coach.
I always had a great, perception of him. He's a winning coach, and he has a plan, and he's executing that plan starting from when he first got here. So the way he's just, planned out camp is very efficient. We're getting in the morning. We're getting a good practice in, coming back, recovery. And, we're just, every time we get on the field, we're ready to go. The schedule is amazing. He's amazing as well. Just a great leader. And I think that just trickles down all the way down to the players.
B.J. Ojulari, of course, awarded the number 18 jersey. And he's a guy that we've talked about who came in with a lot of personal accolades, highly recruited. He's preseason All-SEC this year. He's on a lot of watch lists, but he hasn't had team success. It was 2 years in Baton Rouge, a couple of 500 football teams. And now they enter this year not ranked in the preseason for the first time since the year 2000. B.J. Ojulari reacted to that.
We respect, whatever the media has to say, whatever everybody else votes. We know that we're over here working hard, working our tail off just to get ready for Florida State. And we're just going to take this season 1 week at a time and just continue to try to dominate through the whole schedule.
One more from Ojulari, and this is on field. So in his career so far, he's primarily been an edge player and in two different defenses, right? Where you had Bo Pelini defense, and then you had, which was terrible, and then you had what they did last year, where Durante Jones came in and wasn't really allowed to run what he wanted to run for the first half of the season. Then there was a very obvious and apparent change whenever they were allowed to really open things up defensively, and you saw them play much better in that last month of the season. So, but primarily B.J. Ojulari has been an edge, a third down guy whose primarily role is go rush the passer. And said this year he's going to be a three-down player, and this was Ojulari talking a little bit about the differences in the role he's going to play in this defense.
I'm playing more on the edge now. I'm standing up as a stand-up guy, stand-up edge guy instead of my hand in the dirt, but I can do both. We're dropping it a little bit too as the edge players. So that's what I would say. That's really the two big differences for me.
Remember, I told you yesterday, Ojulari was not working with the defensive line. He was with the linebackers during the individual session. That's not to suggest that he's not playing the edge role he is, but we're trying to piece together what Matt House's defense is going to look like. Is he going to run a 3-4? Is it going to be a 4-3? Well, in a traditional 4-3, which is what Ogeron wanted to run, you stand at the line, you put your hand in the dirt. Matt House, it seems like, is going to run some more multiple looks where Ojulari is standing on the outside and then also can drop into coverage. I think that makes you an even more versatile player at the next level. That makes you more Patrick Queen at the next level. I'm not saying that's what it'll be. I'm not trying to say he'll be a first-round pick and go, be a defensive rookie of the year candidate and things like that. I'm just saying that I think it does make you more of a three-down player, which clearly you want to be, so you're more valuable at the next level. And when your best players are on the field, don't have to come off, of course that makes you better. So Ojulari is fascinating to me, and I'll keep pointing this out, but in his last year at Kentucky, Matt House had Josh Allen, and the kid had 17 sacks and 21 tackles for loss that year, was an All-American and became a first-round draft pick. Those are super, extremely lofty numbers. I'm not even suggesting that that's realistic, but Ojulari having a breakout season, Matt House knows how to use a super athletic guy on the edge in this conference. He's done it. This is the guy he has to work with now. And it's going to be exciting to see how B.J. Ojulari develops here in his final, what will likely be his final year on campus. Okay, let me knock out our final break of the show, y'all. We'll come back, see if Otter Locks can get on track. The Otter was 2-2 last night, so we'll see if you can dole out some winners tonight. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Healthcare expertise, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. You've heard me mention that. Of course, you've probably heard of the Mayo Clinic, one of the foremost medical centers in the world. Well, the Mayo Clinic Care Network expands the expertise of the Mayo Clinic to other health facilities all over the country. The Baton Rouge General is an exclusive partner and member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network in this market, meaning when your physician here locally is treating you, they can consult with the experts at the Mayo Clinic. They have access to their award-winning research, and they can collaborate clinically with the experts at the Mayo Clinic on your behalf at no extra cost to you. The Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. You can learn more at brgeneral.org. That's brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Remember, better coverage for less money. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. All right, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Workbox Services. For over 20 years, Baton Rouge's leader on on-site construction, industrial, and residential services.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and all the incomprehensible, the Oddfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, Matt. How about you?
I'm doing really well. Are you slated to return to this South Louisiana heat this week?
Yes, I am. Later in the week, Thursday.
You'll be home on Thursday.
Thursday night.
So you'll be back on air Friday morning at Ruffino's.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
and
indeed.
Then you'll have the weekend.
Deal at Ruffino's.
Yes, you'll have the weekend to get recalibrated. And then
you're right. You're right, man.
Then Monday we'll be back to our winning ways.
Yeah.
Good.
We were a bad call away. Did you see the call to reversal at the game I was at, the Padres and Giants?
I did not.
Oh, it's bad, man. It was like, okay, it's like a desperate. Cost them 2 runs. They lose 1-0. You do the math. Yankees win on the run line on the road.
Orioles
won, but man, that Padres game just busted up the whole night. So it was a triple, an RBI triple. Guy got his hand in. They came back and reversed it. And
I did see that. I did see it. Yeah. I saw it on SportsCenter this morning. I did see it. Yep.
What'd you think of the call?
Thought it was a bad call.
Yeah. Bad call, bad luck. You ready? Let's go. Extra homework today.
All right.
Extra homework. All right. Atlanta on the longest losing streak of the year at 3 games. When Oakland bounced back. Morton, the bullpen blew him to win last Thursday against Philadelphia. So he's back on the mound. He's been pitching pretty good. -1.5 is about even money. You check your stuff, but I got it right.
I'm looking at even money. Yep.
Okay. Boston's in full fade mode. Hill has struggled. Soft throwing lefties in Fenway. ... Musso would even agree about this.
He's nodding his head.
he is.
He's nodding his head.
There you go. Thank you, Musso. I'm looking for all the help I can get right now, Musso. But anyway, so St. Louis goes to Coors Field. They're hot, and we talked about them taking over first place in the National League Central. -1.5 runs here as well. You look it up, Matt. I'm trying to see what it is.
I'm looking at 120.
-120?
Yep.
Okay.
On the run line. Yeah.
Yes. On the run line. So it's a really good pitcher, hot team. Park should be hitting friendly. Calls for a lot of runs on the road. We're going to go with St. Louis -1.5. I checked the line. And I think your guys have 3 on the first 5 of your Yankees and Seattle under. But I can't take that at 3. That's just such a short number. But Castillo was strong. This is a rematch of that game where Garrett Cole got lit up in the first inning.
Yeah.
Remember, he gave up 6 runs. But after that, he settled down and put up 5 scoreless innings before he was taken out. But 3 is a little bit too short. So I am going to go to a parlay that pays about +119. Philadelphia Phillies are on fire. Zach Wheeler is on fire. So we like them -220. That Miami lineup is not anything to put a whole lot of fear in anybody. And then the Cubs, of all people, Marcus Stroman is on a roll, man. Even last week when they lost to the Cardinals, he had started off with 5 scoreless innings. And I've got the Cubs, Phillies, money line parlay +119.
All right, so the Otter is giving you the Braves on the run line. St. Louis Cardinals on the run line. and a money line parlay with the Phillies and the Cubbies. Otter, I'm ready. I'm ready for you to be back.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, I kind of am too. Enough stuff.
One of the greatest pieces of audio that we've produced, certainly this year, if not ever on Otterlocks, most definitely, is the, as I've learned, it wasn't a trumpeter, is a bugler.
1 minute remaining.
It's basically the Ott household Life 360. My son calls me after he says, Dad, you at the track? Yeah, I heard the trumpet, man.
So good. All right, where's Handy tonight?
Andy's at Doge.
Oh, very nice. Very
on Government Street. He and Mike Delicano. I'll be calling in for the first segment. Matt Humans with golf picks and also talking some college football. And it's just, they're eating well over at Doge on Government Street in Mid-City.
All right, Otter, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk tomorrow.
We'll look to calibrate.
Not until Monday. All right, Game Time with Jimmy Ott. Follows us in Baton Rouge if you're not in Baton Rouge online at 1045ESPN.com. Amuse, what'd you learn?
Feinswog used to never wear a tie to football practice.
He did. Paulie.
Lee was a punt passing kick champ.
What'd you learn, Matt?
Shelton, Sampson, and Ricky Collins been playing 7-on-7 since they were 14.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, reminds me about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or Williamson, EYE.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. I care, I wear, eye surgery. They do it all at the Williamson Eye Center. The Eye Care, of course, they can do your annual eye exam. You and your family should, of course, have your annual eye exam. And there are locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. Baton Rouge, New Roads, Lutcher, Denham, Zachary. They've got you. Gonzales, they've got you at the Williamson Eye Center locations. Also, buy one, get one 50% off. Glasses right now. If you need glasses, buy a pair, get the second pair 50% off right now all this month at the Williamson Eye Center. And, of course, eye surgery, no matter your age or your refractive issue. If you want to see 2020 without contacts or glasses, do what I did. Dr. Blake Williamson did my LASIK. I'm still seeing 2015 better than 2020. It's the Williamson Eye Center.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping